Dear students, the second session in medical genetics is genetic counseling. Genetic counseling, as you can see in the definition, is a communication process which deals with the human problems associated with the occurrence or the risk of occurrence of a genetic disorder in a family. So it's different from when you go to have a visit from a physician, where it's only one way. The physician will usually palpate or does physical exams and then write prescription for you. Here you need to have a communication process to get the facts and the medical facts, as you can see in the next slides, where there are several steps to genetic counseling. This process involves an attempt by one or more appropriately trained persons to help the individual or family. The first step is to comprehend the medical facts, including the diagnosis, the probable course of the disorder, and the available management. The second step is appreciate the way heredity contributes to the disorder and the risk of recurrence in specified relatives. In the second step, in order to find out the exact way the hereditary contributes to the disorder, is you have to draw a pedigree, as I will tell you how the pedigree drawing is done. The third step, understand the options for dealing with the risk of recurrence. Every family may have a different idea for the management or the risk of recurrence for their disorder. So you have to be ready to give them the counseling that they need to make an educated selection of what to do. For instance, if a couple are both carriers for beta thalassemia and they want to have a child, a healthy child, one way is to do prenatal diagnosis to excuse me, to find out if the fetus is affected with thalassemia major. Then they will abort the fetus and they will go through pregnancy termination. But a couple may not want that route and they don't want to choose to abort their fetus. So another option for them could be PGD, pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, where in that case they will perform IVF for them, and then as a genetician we will get one single cell from the fetus and have our genetic diagnosis. If the fetus is healthy without mutation, then we will implant in the uterus of the lady. So this is a second option. So when we talk about understand the options for dealing with the risk of recurrence, this is what I mean, that you need to be aware of various routes that they can take to have healthy baby. The fourth step is choose the course of action which seems appropriate to them in view of their risk and their family goals, and act in accordance with that decision. Here also I give you an example. The course of action here, it means that if they had an affected child who passed away because of various multiple anomalies that the child has, and in the genetic testing we could not find the mutation for this disease in the previous child that they had. So if we cannot find the genetic mutation to help them with PND or PGD, prenatal diagnosis or pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, then one option is to go through ovum donation or a sperm donation from someone else outside of the family. That is one course of action that they could choose. So again, this is matter of you being the counselor and give him all these options. Step 5, make the best possible adjustment to the disorder in an affected family member and or to the risk of recurrence of that disorder, which I explained in the previous scenarios, the best possible adjustment. Someone do not like to go through a therapeutic abortion, they will choose PGD versus PND, or they could choose ovum donation or sperm donation. So these are the symbols that you have to learn in order to draw a pedigree. So from left side, on left top, for male, we use the square without colors. Female, a circle that is empty inside, and sex unspecified. For instance, if the couple are having a baby, but it's too early to know the sex, then you put this sign. And the number of children of sex indicated, you don't have to draw every single child for a couple in the pedigree. You can put the number of, for instance, here in this situation, when they have 2 girls, you can put the number 2 in the middle of the circle and number 3 in the middle of the square for their sons. The affected individual in the pedigree is filled with the color. A non-penetrant carrier may manifest disease, then you have a line in the middle of the symbol for the female and male. I will talk about this non-penetrant carrier later in the pedigree of the diseases. Especially it occurs in the dominant, autosomal dominant disease that we may have this. The obligate carrier will not manifest disease. For instance, if a mother has a child with hemophilia, it definitely is a carrier. She is a carrier for hemophilia mutation, and you will put a dot in front of, in the middle of the symbol. Proband is the affected individual that they will bring to the genetic clinic, and you will start the pedigree around this person. A deceased individual is the individual who passed away and died from the pedigree. Stillbirth, it means the fetus has died during pregnancy. Adopted into family is when a child is received in the pedigree from another family or from the nursery. Adopted out of family, where they have a child who was adopted by another couple. I have had this case in some village where a couple who could not have their own baby because they were infertile, either mother or father was infertile, then family couples, they brought a child for them and give it to them. That is unusual, but it happens. Now, marriage or union, So you draw a line between the circle and the square. Divorced, there is a cross line. You put a line across the marriage line. Consanguinity, when the marriage, they are related to each other. They are, for instance, first cousins or second cousins. Then you put two lines between the male and female. Monozygotic twins, so you will put a line between the twins, and dizygotic twins, you don't put any lines between the twins. And if you don't know the zygosity, you put question marks. And in the pedigree, usually pedigree with generations and individuals numbered, is each generation is numbered with Roman numeral numbers. And within each generation, for instance, Roman numeral 1, you have two individuals, 1 and 2, that you put Arabic numbers. And in the second generation, you have 3 person, 1, 2, 3, and the proband in this pedigree will be Roman numeral 2 and Arabic number 2. So it's 2, 2. That's how you refer to the proband here. Remember, if I give you an exam question and I give you pedigrees, certain pedigrees, I do not write the relationship between the person that I need to ask questions from for you. I will give the numbers exactly like I showed here. Okay, the symbol for miscarriage is a triangle. The no offspring, which is infertility, is just a line across the pregnancy line. And multiple union is when this guy had 2 wives. That's how you draw the symbols. Now, the top part of the this slide, you don't need to pay attention. Just the bottom. I wanted to show you how you draw the sperm donations, where maybe the guy who married the lady here is azoospermia, doesn't have sperm, and they will have a child using the sperm from a donation bank, and the child is grown in the uterus of the lady in the marriage. The ovum donation here, for instance, if a couple we cannot find the genetic mutation to help them with the PND or PGD, that we recommend ovum donation from another lady. The surrogate mother here, it means that another lady will carry the baby in their womb, in their uterus, and maybe the lady who married the guy has problems with the uterus and cannot hold a baby. This one you call it surrogate mother. And surrogate ovum donation, it means the lady in the couple both has problems with the uterus to have the fetus grown in her uterus, and also has some kind of a genetic autosomal recessive disorder where they need to omit the genes from one of the person in the couple. So here they decided that the lady will have the egg donation from another lady, and also it's implanted in the uterus of that lady. Okay, now this pedigree, I would like to show you the degree of relatives by we put the primary, secondary, and tertiary and quaternary relationship to the proband. The number for proband here is in the third generation, number 5. So it would be 3, 5 is the number for that. Now, the relatives who are first degree to proband are her brothers and sisters, her parents, her children are all the primary relatives. The secondary relatives would be her uncles and aunts, and also her grandson, and also the grandparents from both mother's side and father's side are the second degree. And the third and fourth would be one generation further for each one. Now, if you want to practice the numbering of generation and people within each generation, you can give me the grandchild of the proband's cousin who is male. What is her number? So you can write down in your note exactly what number you come up with, and I recommend that we should have a question session online later on before the exam, so you can ask your questions.